Hi, it's Andrew from C1D Paintball. In one of our recent videos, we showed the LaSalle Paintball game type called Commando. This field-exclusive game type is done on the east side of the map, and it's only on the second floor. The play area has a west side of open catwalks, and the east is an enclosed hotel area. Gameplay is best described as close-quarter combat on this scenario. There's long lines of sight, but they're narrow and a lot of dark areas. Players don't have a ton of options to do in this game type, but it really gets your heart pounding. It's a fun game type. I'm saying game type a lot. Now this video is long, and it's funny because it's a long video, and it only exists because until only recently I only had the one Commando video, and that's because the games are really short. It's kind of funny, right? This is a long video about a short game type. But really, I was debating how to present Commando on a video because, and trust me, I've got lots and lots of game footage on this game type. But instead of like a 2-minute video of the game, I figured, you know what? There's only 4 options on this map really on how to play it. You spawn north or south, and you can go north to the catwalk, north to the hotel, or south to the catwalk, south to the hotel. So I figured, you know what? I'll make a longer video that kind of shows all the options and covers all the base of this game type from the start. Now, there is a 10-minute game type, there's a 10-minute limit on the game type, but it's really rare you go that far. Just like most games, you need a basic strategy going in, you know. In some games, you can kind of go with the flow a bit more and wait for things to develop and then make a better plan. But in Commando, it's not a good idea to go in kind of open-ended, but you really have to have a basic game plan at the start and do it quickly. Chances are, well, you're going to have to change, but you really got to have a game plan from the start, try to execute it, and react from there. You can't take time for granted on it. All right, time for me to talk again. This is something that is not against the rules, I just find it a bit unethical. From the start of the game in Commando, a lot of players that have played there before, instead of scrambling left or right from the whistle, as I explained earlier, you go to either the catwalk or the hotel, they just stand there and they shoot players right away. And the only place you're going to hit a player from this distance and with the railing is in the head. And this is not against the rules. I think it's unethical when you have new, inexperienced players there. It's a very intense game type that can be kind of scary a bit. It is a lot of fun, but for a new player, it can be intense, it can be scary. You get taken out, boom, with a headshot. It's not a good experience. Players have a bad experience, they're not going to come back. The game will not grow. So you'll hear me warn players before the start of a couple of these matches. I tell them, hey, get low, they're going to shoot for you. I don't like that. I don't mind if it's all experienced players, it can add an element to the game, but when there's new, inexperienced players, I just don't see the use in it. I think it's bad for it. I think people are being selfish that do it, but that's just my opinion. If you've seen the C1D videos, a lot of the stuff we preach is to help new players and to help grow the game. I don't think it helps in this game type. Not a criticism on the game type. Game type is a blast. But the choice of players to do this, when there's new players and experienced players out there, I just think is kind of bad for the game. Is not the decision that I personally would make. And as a matter of fact, before one of the game types, you'll hear me point out to Connor, who happens to be playing on the other side, that I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Don't do it back to us. And, you know, there you go. Again, not against the rules. When there's experienced players, it actually adds an interesting element to it. But that being said, it's something that I'm just going to take the opportunity to talk about since I've got your attention and since I'm supposed to be breaking down Commando. It's one of the things to watch out for and be aware that happens. All right. Now let's see some of the gameplay. You've heard a lot about Commando. Let's watch some.
Watch the guy in the middle know some guy. He's going to fire away. I'm going to drop.
Because of this firefight from the start, a slow old guy like me has zero chance of going to the hotel, which honestly is a spot I don't go often anyway. So instead I'm going to the crow's nest.
Attends.
I could have tried to get across the bridge to get into the guts of the catwalk. There's actually an incline upwards the more north you go, so rushing up from the south to the north is not a good idea. I'm going to hold an angle here on the main alley. Now if I do spot an opportunity to run up after I figure it's safe, I'll do it. And if that doesn't work, I'll simply keep an angle and keep the other team from coming down this way.
Wait for him. Jason. Guys, crawl. Guys, debout, allez là, ok? Mais stay low. Prends ton temps, reste low.
The two noobs are not going to really help much being where they are, so they need to keep their heads low and at least for a while I'm still in play, get to the east wall, as any enemy that clear the hotel can charge in from this doorway and take them out. I'm really taking a chance here, but I need to. I need to get a good look at the other end of the alley. I try to stay low, but I'm visible to an enemy who will be paying attention looking down the opposite side of my position. Actually, here's a screenshot. It's taken from my action camera from a previous game where I was on the north side alley. See that little area with the shadow? Well, that's where I'm peeking now. But as you can see, it can hide me a bit, but not too much.
Back wall left! Back wall left off the bridge, don't worry. Et les gars, ils voient pas. Reste low. Hit out.
You probably noticed there was a slight delay before I got hit and before I actually called. I had to do a paint check in that dark area. I felt something, but didn't know if it was the splash off the railing in front of me. Sure enough, it hit me.
Bridge coming out! Coming out! Coming out, don't shoot!
As you can see here and with the other clips in the video, when someone is coming out on commando, it's really important they announce it clearly. Overshooting by mistake can be common in this game type. So this was a typical firefight on the catwalk, so while lasting under 2 minutes, not a long round for me, but something typical of Commando as the options are limited and narrow, and of course those dark perimeters I already mentioned about the game. So for this game it's a mixed group of rentals and experienced players, and I'm starting in the north wall. Now once again I'm going to go on the catwalk side, and this time try to creep south as far as I can get. My goal is to try to pick off enemies in the windows of the hotel, and help any of my teammates advancing inside there.
Communicate if you need help, you see somebody, just talk, boys. I'm ready. I'm gonna pop shot him. That was fun.
Now, just like the previous clip, there was a lot of shooting from the get-go, hence me saying that was fun. Now again, I'm trying to advance to this catwalk area and take out enemy players from the windows. While both the catwalks and the hotel have many windows, it's a bit like whack-a-mole for both teams with this strategy, with heads popping up and down in the windows. And now as my previous Commando video showed, there can be enemy troops on the opposite side of us. But from the north you have a slight height advantage, and to try to get to the first part of the catwalk area itself is easier than in the south.
I'm gonna go straight ahead, okay? There still is?
Now here you can see my teammate. Now to the left you clearly see that slight elevation of the ramp. This is the height advantage I've mentioned a few times that the north has over the south. In a game where an inch or more of exposed enemy matters, this is big.
Can you see anybody? Tu veux quelqu'un? Hotel? I want to clear this bridge out though.
So this is a good spot, as I have some cover from the shooting alley in the catwalk and an angle on a few of the windows. But of course, once they know I'm here, then I better be ready to dodge shots back. In Commando, the game type's normally one inside the hotel, so my role here is important, but more of a support role. I can maybe take out a player or two, but my primary goal is to distract the enemy in the hotel and hopefully keep them as close to their spawn wall as possible and make it easier for my teammates inside the building to try to advance. As long as there is a group in the building and a support team from the outside, it's a good strategy.
Right here, right here. Anybody see anything? What? I got someone by the main door in the middle. Everyone's just sitting frickin' tight. He's coming out. Where'd he get you? Anybody on the wall we started yet? Connor, you back there still? Hit! Coming out!
Game over.
So this enemy is practically at the closest door to the hotel from our spawn. We lost 2 of our teammates who were storming the building early, which meant that I had no advancing team inside the hotel to support. Hey, sometimes it worked, sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, it was a fun game.
I'm hit. Yeah, oh sorry, hit. We're good, he's out. He's hit in the back.
This game, I'm spawning back again on the south wall. I'm actually going to go into the hotel. There aren't a lot of players on each side, so no tryhards or speedballers to nail you from the start. This should be a more relaxed scenario and why I choose to practice going inside the hotel. Again, where I rarely venture. The goal here is to try to get at least 1 player into the hotel and on each side of the main hallway. This way you can leapfrog from room to room and support each other. But even if you just secure the first rooms, then you have what is normally a great defensive position. But usually taking a defensive position means you have to wait for the enemy and take your time, and for this match I feel like being a bit bold and trying to take the fight to the enemy. I've mentioned this is a close quarters map. Now this first room is just next to the midpoint of the hotel where the external Bridge of Death is. And as the name implies, it's a key area and a difficult one to pass no matter what side you're on, as you're exposed from so many angles as you try to pass it. For many who've watched our other videos, you know that I have a big mouth and I'm very chatty. But here I am quiet, as enemy players may be just on the other side of a thin plywood wall, so I try my best to communicate with my teammates using hand gestures. Now, not only do these little rooms mean you don't know who's right next to you, but also the acoustics mean that every shot inside are really loud and add to the tension in the fog of war. See the shadows? Well, as the grainy video can show you, it's dark in here, and personally, I use shadows a lot. I use them to try to see enemy around corners, and it works well. But of course, as you can see here, it's my own shadow cast in the hallway, so an observant enemy who spots this knows exactly where I am.
Freeze! Oh fuck, we're both frozen. Thank you for freezing me. Hit, coming up!
Okay, so this is what happens when two nice guys play Commando while in the hotel. I freeze an opponent, and a second later, another opponent freezes me. That could have been ugly, so I really appreciate the freeze. Now that guy who froze me also quietly took out my teammate, so great job by him, who then secured the hotel section of the map. And I'm gonna say it again, another fun round. Now this is the most recently filmed video, so the extended part of the hotel is included in the gameplay. In fact, it's key to my strategy, which would see me starting on the north wall and planning to go in the hotel along the corridor of death, a long hall on the most eastern part of the map, deep inside the hotel. Frankly, while I know the layout, I've never tried this before and hope to simply take out enemies by surprise by being able to flank the main hotel entrance and perhaps even by the back door.
You guys go for this first building on the right, but he's gonna start to shoot right away. Guns down. I'm not shooting, Connor. Connor, I'm not shooting.
Notice I called out to Connor and the other team that I wasn't going to take the cheap route and shoot enemies right from the start. Again, it's not against the rules to shoot them from spawn when the game starts, but I just find it a bit unsportsmanlike, especially when there's new players.
They know it's coming. Get down.
So I've done well here. I took 2 enemies out, and pretty much my job is done for this round. Even if I die now, I can feel good about contributing. But my position is known, and I'm basically pinned down. I'll just wait and check my angles, and hopefully can weasel my way out of here. I will use my ears as much as my eyes, as I can hear Connor and a teammate both discuss where I am, and I hope for a miracle. I'll also be fast forwarding parts of this video, as there were spans of time where I simply sat there and waited. Now I slowly make my way out, and I want to go to this room which has only one way in or out. I know no enemy is there, but one can jump out from here and take me out if I'm not careful. Now I'm guessing the enemy player here just poked out and fired a couple of shots. I don't think he knows which room I'm in, so maybe he's just firing to test the waters and will advance. So I kneel down and get into firing position in case he's coming up. Now those last shots had me realizing that maybe those previous shots weren't directed to me at all. Maybe they were firing in other parts of the map, so maybe I should be the one advancing.
I don't want to hit you in the head, buddy. I'll back out. Don't worry, I didn't freeze you. Be careful of your head. I knew you were there first. Okay, I'm out. I'm hit.
2 shots glance off the visor of my mask as Connor takes me out. Overall, a fun match, and I'm really happy I tried that strategy. So I hope these different scenarios give you a better idea of what Commando LaSalle Paintball is like. And if it interests you to come out and try it yourself, please do. Maybe you can join the long list of players who have taken me out of a game. It isn't hard to do, as the video shows. So from all of us at the C1D crew, I want to thank you for watching this video and ask you to please subscribe and like. Until next time, keep being positive and remember to show good sportsmanship.